I'm just going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am currently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So I do see, hi, a lot of Malaysians joining, although this topic of conversation that I'm going to have pertains to, to South Africa, because if you look at my posts, if you go to my posts on TikTok, my second last post, so the last one will be about this video that I'm doing now, which is live. And the post before that, I posed a question to people. Who's this K Ragupati? They say, invite this person to join live as guest. If you want to join as a guest, please comment. I don't even know where to find the comments. Let me look where I find the comments. Comments. Yeah, no. Okay, anyway, so as I was saying, this, I asked a question. So maybe if you want to go over to, you take a look on my TikTok account page, you will see the second last post. Hi, I asked a question, which was, why is it wrong for Afriforum? Now, Afriforum is an NGO group in South Africa who represent the Afrikaner race in South Africa, okay? Why is it okay for, why is it wrong for Afriforum to take the complaints that they have in South Africa? Why did they take this complaint and go to the US to complain at the US to lobby for support pertaining to their complaint? Why is that wrong? But why, during the apartheid, when the ANC, which is a political party, okay, so that first party is a organization, why the ANC, who is a political party, why was it okay for them to take their complaint to the US? Sorry, my pen fell. They could take their complaint to the US and lobby for support in the US. See, Afriforum is wrong. Why? ANC is right. Why? So I'm asking this question because I noticed a lot of South Africans, I don't know what they are teaching them at school, but somehow I don't know. They don't understand how a democracy works. Swipe right to view comments. What is swipe right? Right, so Afriforum, what they did is wrong. ANC, what they did was right. Why? Okay, first of all, I was talking about why I'm doing this is because I said, I don't know what's wrong with the education system in South Africa, but somehow people, even adults, don't seem to know how a democracy works. I'm sure you guys in Malaysia, please, you have to let me know whether you agree with what I'm saying, whether you disagree, what it's like in Malaysia if you have the same kind of thing. So in South Africa, like I said, Afriforum is an NGO group and they represent a certain race, which is a minority race. This race is called Afrikaners. So the Afrikaners have been having a lot of grievances against our government. Now, our government, the present government, because now we have a coalition, but before 2024, we always had a majority government, which was called the ANC, which is similar to Malaysia's, right? You all always had, I think, Barisan. Now you also have a coalition, right? Well, Barisan was a coalition, but it was always, UMNO was always the main party, right? So same thing. So same thing with them. Now they have a coalition with the majority. The biggest party is the ANC. But before this, the ANC was like they had the majority vote, like 60% and above. Right? So I think you all can, there's the same thing there, right? Okay. So anyway, so this Afriforum is representing the Afrikaner people. Okay? And so the Afrikaner people, they have been having a lot of issues with some of our policies. So one of our policies is called the Black Economic Empowerment Policy, BEE, which is a policy that we adopted from the Malaysian Bumiputra policy. Because of the reason we have this policy, which is exactly the same as Malaysia's, maybe a little tweak here and there, but it's, I'd say, 95% similar. The reason for our policy in South Africa is to redress past injustices. And this is pertaining to the apartheid now. Oh, Soon, I see you. It says invite Soon as a guest. I don't know if you want to be a guest. You must let me know if you want to be a guest. Right, so these BEE policies are in place to redress past injustices, because before 1994, non-whites had no, they were excluded from politics. So that means you couldn't vote. We couldn't have political parties. We had no freedom of expression. No, it's not. The AI says exploring educational policies in Malaysia. No, that's not what it is. It's not that. It's not that. It's wrong. It's wrong. I'm not talking about educational policies in Malaysia. I'm talking about policies in South Africa. Okay? AI is wrong. Hi. AI is very wrong. Okay, anyway, so I'm sure you Malaysians can see the similarity, right? Although yours was not to redress past injustices, it's more to bring equality in the society, right? In the nation. So ours is, it's twofold. Hey, Zuena. Hi. Okay. So ours is twofold. We have the one where we want to redress past injustices, and then we have the one where the reason for it is to balance the inequality. Okay? Right. So we've got two. Malaysia, you have one. I think we have two. So the Afrikaners, because they are not beneficiaries of this BEE policy, which is the same in Malaysia, right? The BEE policy is for Malays, I think Eurasians, and then like for indigenous Kadazan, Sarawakian people and Sabahans, and then also your Orang Asli, right? So we have the same. It's the BEE policies benefit the previously disadvantaged individuals, which is PDI, which was mainly the non-whites and gay people and disabled people, mentally challenged people. Okay, so it's a bit broader than the Malaysian policies. It's more, it goes into, it's not just race related. Okay, but of course on paper that's what it say, but in reality it only benefits black people. Oh, and also women fall under PDI. Okay, right, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this Afriforum. So besides this policy, South Africa also has a new policy where the government can expropriate land, which means they can expropriate it with compensation and also without compensation. So without compensation is the one that was causing a big hoo-ha, because without compensation, and only to the Afrikaners, not the other races, they were just like, yeah. Because what this bill pertains to is that when there is an abandoned property, especially for many years, and it becomes overgrown, it could be a building in the middle of the city, it could be a farmland, it could be any land that or property that is owned by somebody. They abandon it, and which a lot of white people did when in 1994, when the black government took over. They ran away to other countries and they just left their properties. So what happened is people started squatting in these properties. And of course, it became a health risk because there's no sanitation, electricity. They just wire whatever they want together. There's no running water. It's just a big mess. And a year ago or 2 years ago, there was a big fire and 100 and some odd people died. So of course, it was like, why is the government allowing the people to stay in these buildings? They died. Look how they died. So of course, the government decided, Oh, hi, another person joined. The government decided, since these buildings are abandoned, we taking the buildings because it's a health hazard. Okay, it's a health hazard, and it's an eyesore because it's all over the place. It's ugly. So the Afrikaners are not happy with this, and they're not happy with this because they are saying, at the moment, this is what that clause means. Abandoned property will be confiscated without compensation. That means they're not going to pay the owner of the property. They're just going to take it because the owner's not taking care of it for how many years? 30 years. I think 20 years, whatever. Okay. So the Afrikaners are unhappy with this because they say in the future, what is going to happen is the government is going to come for their land. And because you see, although they don't want to say this, but they know that the land that they own in South Africa is not really their land because they were colonizers. There were already people living, like my ancestors, we were already living here. They came and just decided we want everything and just pushed us out and took over. But now that, we are an equal society, we are saying, hello, give back our land. Canaan Crusader, oh yeah, I see you on YouTube and on Twitter, X quite a lot. Anyway, yes, so this is what the Afrikaners, they know this. That's why it's an issue for them because they know. They're not saying it, but they know. But we all know. We know they came. Like I say, my ancestors were already there. They came. They took the land. Okay, yes, they did build South Africa up, but they did not do it alone. Okay, they were the bosses. The non-white people were the laborers. They even brought Malaysians, take note, they brought your people from Malaya, because it was Malaya that time, some of them as slaves, to come to South Africa to come and work. I'm sure you'll know about that, right? Yes, so this is what they did. They came here as slaves to work in South Africa. They also did it to Indians. They brought Indians from India. Okay? You see how our paths cross India, Malaysia, Indonesia. Also, they brought people from the Java, from Indonesia, Sumatra, all those places. They brought them to South Africa to work because the white man was not doing the labor. He was just standing there, do this, do this, do this, do this, and the non-white people were doing the work. So who built the country? I'd say everybody, right? Because, someone has to take the brick and put it there. Someone has to put the nail there and chop it in, right? Okay. So, of course, they don't like when we say that. When we say these things, they don't like it. But that's just the fact, right? So this is the Afrikaners had this problem. They have this problem because now they say this Expropriation Without Compensation Act. Now it's about abandoned buildings. In the future, it might be that people are going to come for their land. The government is just going to come. And the reason the government also takes the land is because there's not enough land to build new housing projects, and we need more land for hospitals and railroads and whatever. So when the government takes the land, they are going to repurpose it to benefit the nation. Okay, like schools, hospitals, whatever. Now, there's a lot of talk about our government, the ANC. They are very bad people. Yes, I agree. Everybody agrees. It's all over the internet. That's all everybody talks about. But I don't want to talk about that. That is not important to me. I'm talking about the conversation, the question that I asked in my post. So those who just joined, if you want to know what I'm talking about, you go to my main page. The second last post, I asked a question. I said, question of the day. I can't remember the words, but it's something like Afriforum went to tattletale at the White House, the tattletale their grievances, and that is wrong. The ANC did the same thing during the Apartheid, and that was not wrong. Because people keep making that comparison, like, oh, why can Afriforum not do it, but the ANC did it? So I'm going to get to that, but I need to give you the backstory, right? So, of course, the backstory, like I've told you, it's about the Expropriation Act, because they say in the future, the Afrikaners are saying in the future, the government is just going to take their land to redress past injustices that I told you about. But I don't know how they read, but then Afrikaners, I think in general, don't really speak English that well. By the way, I speak fluent Afrikaans because I was brought up speaking Afrikaans. I was in an Afrikaans school. My medium of instruction was Afrikaans. My family spoke Afrikaans. My father is an Afrikaner because I'm mixed. I'm Khoisan, Dutch, German, French Creole. French Creole is Indian, Arabic, French, Ethiopian, okay? So I'm just like everything. So I can be European because I am of European descent, if you understand DNA, and I can also be indigenous to South Africa because I have Khoisan ancestry. I'm what they call a colored. But anyway, I speak Afrikaans, so I don't know, when they say, to be an Afrikaner, you must speak Afrikaans and follow the Afrikaans culture, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Okay, anyway, so continuing on. Hi, new people. Hi. Okay, so, yes, so they say in the future they're worried that the government will take their land. So the thing is, the expropriation without compensation, it says that they only take if it's abandoned properties and land. This one that they're talking about is to redress past injustices. So that does not fall under the without compensation, as the way I read it and the way my lawyer explained to it, because I also own land. So I'm a bit worried. Okay, right. Yes, the AI summary says we are discussing historical injustices. That's what we're doing, yes. Let me make sure everybody's still here that I want to be here. Okay, right. So then the Afriforum, because they're representing the Afrikaners, they said, whoa, let's go to the White House and go and complain. But there's another thing. The Afrikaners have been accusing the government of trying to ethnic cleanse, like a genocide, the white farmers in South Africa. Now this claim has already been debunked so many times. It was debunked by the Afrikaner Forum people themselves. I have a video where Ernst Roots, he used to be with Afriforum, he's no more with them, where he, or with some, I don't know if he's with Solidariteit or whatever, he actually, in this video, is shouting at, I think it's Kali Kriel, if I'm not mistaken, the leader of Afriforum, the president. He is actually taking him to task for saying, why are you telling everybody it's a white genocide? You know it's not a white genocide. So that has already been debunked. But when you hear Trump say bad things are happening to people in South Africa, he is talking about the white genocide, because he said brutal things. Brutal, taking your land that is not even yours to begin with, and that's not going to happen to you because your land is not abandoned. That's not brutal. Redressing past injustices that you, if you are a Gen X or Boomer, you're still alive, so it's you. And if you're younger than that, your ancestors and your mother and father, because they're probably still alive. Injustices that you were perpetrating. So it's to address these injustices. So they went to complain about that. And then Trump was like, oh, whoa, I need to save these people. Brutal things are happening to them. Bad things are happening to them. Okay, so they did that. Okay, so why is it wrong for them to do that? Number one. Now we're getting to the question I asked. It's wrong because, first of all, we are a democracy. And when there's a democracy, if you as a community or a group, you have an issue with the government, you have to go to your government representative. And then your government representative will go to the parliament member. Then the parliament member in the House of Parliament will put your issue on the table there. so that it can be discussed. That's how it works. Now, in South Africa, there are many predominantly white political parties. So, Afriforum, if they wanted to represent Afrikaners, they could have chosen any of the predominantly white parties and said, hey, help us take our issue to Parliament so that they can fix it. Did they do that? Okay, I've got two messages. Let me just check the messages first. So, did they do that? I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't see anywhere that there's any party that said that they did. There's also white-dominated, not predominated, but dominated parties. Only white people belong to those parties. No non-white would ever, in a million years, vote for them or want to be a member. They could also have taken their issue to them. I know they said, oh, the president didn't want to talk to us. But you cannot talk to the president. Your representative has to talk to the president. The president can't talk to every Dick, Tom, and Harry. He's got a lot of things to do. And our president is such a mojo, so... Anyway, that's another story for another day. But so they decided, no, we will take our issue to the US. So they took it to the US. I think they already took it to the Biden administration. Oh, we are being ill-treated in South Africa. There's a genocide. We are being killed every day. We are dying. Please come and save us. Our land is going to get taken away from us. This is our country. We are indigenous, because I don't think they understand what indigenous mean. But anyway, all this kind of story. So this is wrong for them to do, because like I said, we are a democracy. So they have to take it, their member has to take it to Parliament. It is a domestic issue. You cannot take a domestic issue out of the country. So this is why then I want to ask the Malaysians. If there was a situation like this in Malaysia, let's say I use the Indians because they are a minority race, right? Can you imagine if the Indians are not happy with the Bumiputra laws, and instead of going to what's the Indian group? Is it MCI or is that Chinese? Whatever, I can't remember the Indian party. MIC. Yes. Imagine they don't go to MIC to go and say, hey, we don't want this. You better go and tell Anwar to sort this out. What do? Pack their bags, rush to the US and go and tell the US, oh, we have race-based laws, which you do have. Yours is exactly like ours. Oh, we have race-based laws. And because of this race-based laws, we cannot find work. The work is only for the boomies, all this kind of stuff. And on top of that, the Malaysian government is killing us. Is this acceptable in Malaysia? Or would Malaysians want the Indians to go take it to MIC, and then MIC has to take it to the Parliament, right? Isn't that how it would work, right? Whether it's treason or not, I don't know, but that's what they did. So this is wrong, because it undermines our constitution, okay? It's wrong. Then people will say, oh, but why can it be wrong? The ANC did it. Okay. Before 1994, South Africa, our political system was apartheid. Non-whites, like I told you earlier on, were excluded from politics, economics. Everything was separate for us. Everything. Now, so the ANC that time, they started a party because they wanted to fight the government. So they started a political party. The political party got labeled a terrorist organization and got banned. Okay? Now you tell me, if you cannot vote, you have no representative in Parliament. Your party is considered a terrorist organization. Terrorist organization because you want freedom, you want equal rights, you want to be treated as an equal human being. Okay? And you are excluded from politics. There is no way that you can go who are you going to talk to? How are you going to go to Parliament? How are you going to get into Parliament to go and talk? And even if you open your mouth a little bit about politics, you get thrown into prison. You can't even talk to friends about the problem. If you do, it has to be very quiet, because if they find out, they will come and pick you up and you will be thrown in jail. So what did they have to do? They have to lobby outside of the country because they cannot get representative in their country, so they have to go outside. Because under the Human Rights Convention, apartheid is a crime against humanity. So what they did was the right thing. They didn't go around and, because you know non-whites are the majority, they didn't go around and decide, okay, why don't we just kill all the white people? Because they could have done that. Hi, new person that joined. They could have done that because they are the majority. They could have, but you know, contrary to popular belief, we are not savages. That we are not. So what did they do? They went to other countries, not just the US, because the USA, up until 2008, they were still saying the ANC are terrorists, so they didn't really help. But they went to other countries, UK and or Malaysia. They came to Malaysia. Malaysia was a big help for South Africa. Malaysia helped us a lot in the fight against South Africa. But because Malaysia and South Africa, we have very similar policies. Like now, that people, I cannot mention their name because they shadow banned my account. You know those people in that country where Jesus was born that are bombing all the innocent people? We all stand with the innocent people, right? We all do that. South Africa does that and Malaysia is doing that. When it came to the Ukraine war, Malaysia and South Africa decided to stay neutral. Malaysia and South Africa did not condemn Russia. We stayed neutral because we don't want to be involved in white people's fighting. Isn't it? That the white people kill each other there. We will just watch from the sidelines, and when they stop fighting, we just remind them, excuse me, can I still buy the wheat from you? And from you, can I still buy the peanut butter? Because my people must eat. So you kill each other there, but just make sure you send our food so our people can eat. Because we were standing, Malaysia was stand with Malaysia, South Africa was stand with South Africa. No one was standing with Ukraine because it's not our business. So we had the same things. Malaysia and South Africa, we have the same race-based laws. We support the same people. And we have the same allies. Because Malaysia is also now a BRICS country. But I don't see any Malaysians running around complaining to the US about what's happening here. Only Afrikaners are doing that. But when it comes to actual democracy, what they did is wrong. They cannot do that. It's an internal problem. It has to be solved internally, because what do they think Trump must do? They also putting his hands in chains. What can he do? Well, he did do a few things. He offered them refugee status, which most of them, especially like Afriforum and Solidarity, they don't want the refugee status. They don't want it. They said, no, talk to the hand. And the other Afrikaners, the other white people, it's not even Afrikaners, it's just white people in South Africa, they want the refugee status, which I don't know how that's going to work, because they will be the first refugees. This is a joke that a comedian made, a South African comedian, Dylan Olifant, check him out. He said, South Africans will be the first refugees that USA is going to accept, where the refugee is going to go, excuse me, can I bring my maid and my driver? Because that's the kind of refugees that's going to go there. Anyway, so I just want to finish this conversation. Yeah, I wish I could speak to people. I see there's so many people here. Just to round it off again, the question was, why is Afriforum, who went to tattletale to the US about internal problems, why is that wrong? But when the ANC did it, it wasn't wrong. To summarize it, it's wrong for Afriforum to do that because our country is a democracy, and this is an internal matter. It needs to be taken to the parliament floor. ANC, it was okay for them to do it because the ANC was banned. They were excluded from politics. They had no representative to parliament, so there was no way that their voice could be heard. they had to go outside for support. I hope South Africans can understand that, because somehow it doesn't seem to be in your curriculum. You are not learning anything at school. Your parents are not teaching you anything. But I think this is the difference between us who grew up in the apartheid. Like, we had to be educated about politics and like govern the government and all this kind of stuff, because just being this, having this skin color, it was, you couldn't be like, oh, I don't care about politics. You were politics. Just because of the color of your skin, you were already politics, and you were already labeled a terrorist, because it would go without saying that you would be totally against the government and you would try to overthrow it as fast as possible and in any way possible. So yes, we were all terrorists. But you must know, one man's terrorist is another one's freedom fighter. So I leave you with that. Good night.